Hello, everyone, and very good afternoon once again. So, welcome everybody, and let's see who all are connected now. Mr. Akash Yadav is there, Avni Singhal, Priyanka, Nancy, Kinjal. Great. So, welcome everybody. And in today's class, we have to complete our topic that is measures of dispersion. So, measures of dispersion again, exam के point of view से बहुत ही important chapter है, and most of the part we have completed in the previous session, and in today's session we are completing this chapter. तो आज हमारा ये chapter finish हो जाएगा. So let's give a quick recap. तो measures of dispersion का मतलब basically क्या था? It means fluctuation, deviation और variation among the observation. कि आपके पास जो भी data है उसमें कितना फ्लक्चुएशन है, कितना वेरिएशन है, ये कौन मेजर करता है? डिस्पर्शन मेजर करता है. तो डिस्पर्शन को हमने डिवाइड किया था इनटू टू पार्ट्स. वन वाज द एब्सोल्यूट मेजर एंड सेकंड वाज रिलेटिव मेजर. राइट. एब्सोल्यूट मेजर में हम क्या करते हैं? वी मेजर द अमाउंट ऑफ वेरिएशन, वेयर एज इन रिलेटिव मेजर वी कैलकुलेट द डिग्री ऑफ वेरिएशन. तो अमाउंट का मतलब हो गया कि वो रुपीस, किलोग्राम, मीटर, सेंटीमीटर, इस तरह से कोई उसका वेरिएशन होगा. बट डिग्री का मतलब है वेरिएशन इज कैलकुलेटेड इन टर्म्स ऑफ अ रेशियो और इन टर्म्स ऑफ अ परसेंटेज. तो ऑलवेज किसको बेटर माना जाता है? वेन एवर वी आर कंपेयरिंग, जब भी हमें कंपैरिजन करना होता है, रिलेटिव मेजर इज ट्रीटेड बेटर एज कंपेयर टू एब्सोल्यूट, बिकॉज इट मेक्स द कंपैरिजन प्रॉपर. देन एब्सोल्यूट इज इजी टू कैलकुलेट वेयर एज रिलेटिव इज समवॉट डिफिकल्ट. तो ये सारे पॉइंट्स हमने डिस्कस किए थे इन द प्रीवियस सेशन. देन फोर टाइप्स ऑफ डिस्पर्जन. सो रेंज हमने सबसे पहले डिस्कस किया था. रेंज मींस द वेरी सिंपलेस्ट फॉर्मूला, डिफरेंस ऑफ हाईएस्ट एंड लोएस्ट वैल्यू. एंड देन हमने कंप्यूट किया था कोफिशिएंट ऑफ रेंज. देन क्वार्टाइल डेविएशन वाज कंप्लीटेड एंड मीन डेविएशन वाज आल्सो कंप्लीटेड. तो ये सब कुछ हमने कंप्लीट डिस्पर्शन, दैट इज स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन. तो स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन को सबसे बेस्ट मेजर ऑफ डिस्पर्शन बोला जाता है. तो दिस यू हैव टू ऑलवेज रिमेंबर. ओके. तो स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन इज द बेस्ट मेजर ऑफ डिस्पर्शन. तो ये सबसे बेस्ट वाली कैटेगरी में आता है. So you can write it down. This is the best measure. Now, if we talk about all other deviations, then we can see that range is dependent on two variables. Range is basically calculated from the two values, basically the highest and lowest one. Whereas quartile deviation is based on middle 50% observation. क्वार्टाइल डेविएशन जो है मिडल के 50% ऑब्जर्वेशन पे बेस्ड है. जबकि मीन डेविएशन में हमने पढ़ा था इट इज बेस्ड ऑन ऑल द ऑब्जर्वेशन. तो मीन डेविएशन में सारे के सारे ऑब्जर्वेशन को हम यूज करते हैं. तो जितनी ज्यादा हम ऑब्जर्वेशन यूज करेंगे उतना ऑफ कोर्स एक्यूरेसी की तरफ हम मूव करते हैं. एंड स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन ऑल्सो यूज ऑल द ऑब्जर्वेशन. स्टैंडर्ड डिवीजन भी सारे ऑब्जर्वेशन को यूज करता है. एंड दिस इज यूनिवर्सली एक्सेप्टेड दैट स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन इज द बेस्ट measure of dispersion. Okay, so we can highlight this portion. So standard deviation does not possess the demerits of range and mean deviation. तो उनमें कुछ कंप्यूटेशन में डिफिकल्टी, ज्यादा लेंदी चीजें होती हैं. तो इसलिए जो ड्रॉबैक्स है अदर डिस्पर्शन के, उसको यहाँ पे इग्नोर कर दिया जाता है. एंड स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन इज द बेस्ट. नाउ स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन की एक छोटी सी डेफिनेशन है विच कैन बी आज एन एग्जाम, एंड प्रीवियसली कई बार एग्जाम में आ भी चुका है. Standard deviation for a given set of observation is defined as the root mean square deviation from taken from arithmetic mean. So ये जो definition है, first definition, It is the root, mean, square, deviation from arithmetic mean. This definition creates a formula. इससे एक पूरा फॉर्मूला बन जाता है और क्या निकल के आता है? स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन. सो कैसे फॉर्मूला बनता है? लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड. सबसे पहला वर्ड क्या लिखा है? रूट. तो आपने क्या लगा दिया? स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन इज इक्वल टू रूट. मीन. मीन का फॉर्मूला क्या होता है? सम ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशंस डिवाइडेड बाय नंबर ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशन. तो सम के लिए आपने सिग्मा लगाया डिवाइडेड बाय एन. अभी सम किसका करना है? तो रूट लिखा, मीन लिखा, नेक्स्ट इज स्क्वायर. तो नाउ आपको स्क्वायर लगाना है. तो वी हैव टेकन द स्क्वायर. डेविएशन. डेविएशन मतलब डिफरेंस. तो एक्स का डिफरेंस, वेरिएबल का डिफरेंस आपको लेना है. तो डेविएशन को भी हमने टिक कर दिया. अब ये डेविएशन किससे लेना है? दिस डेविएशन शुड बी टेकन फ्रॉम अर्थमेटिक मीन. so we are writing x bar. So from this definition, this formula is built up. So root sigma x minus x bar whole square upon n. So this is the formula to calculate standard deviation in individual series. Now mean deviation के अंदर हमने क्या देखा था? In case of mean deviation, deviation was taken from central value. Deviation of central value, that means mean, median or mode. कहीं से भी डेविएशन ले सकते हैं. डेविएशन कैन बी टेकन फ्रॉम मीन, मीडियन और मोड. वेयर एज इन स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन, deviations are taken only from arithmetic mean. No median, no mode. Only from arithmetic mean. So this is the basic formula to calculate standard deviation in case of individual series. We can write it down. Standard deviation in individual series. Okay. So I think everybody has joined now. Then Negemi Rosario is asking how to pass in maths. See, clearing mathematics paper is not at all difficult if we practice daily. अगर आप डेली प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, 1 to 1.5 बार आप सेल्फ प्रैक्टिस करते हैं डेली, देन इट इज सफिशिएंट टू स्कोर गुड मार्क्स इन मैथमेटिक्स. सिर्फ इतना आपको करना है, लेकिन रेगुलरली करना है, तो उससे आप अच्छा स्कोर कर सकते हैं. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, नाउ स्टैटिस्टिक्स आपका पोर्शन चल रहा है. तो एट प्रेजेंट फोकस ऑन स्टैटिस्टिक्स. तो स्टैटिस्टिक्स पोर्शन इज कंपैरेटिवली इजी एज कंपेयर टू मैथमेटिक्स. तो फर्स्ट कवर द 40 मार्क्स ऑफ स्टैटिस्टिक्स, then go for logical reasoning, and at last go for mathematics. Okay, so now you can follow this pattern. Okay, so this is the formula. Now how to solve using this formula, let us understand with the help of some question. Series x is given 10, 20 and 30. Okay, these are three observations in a series. Now as per the formula, we require x bar, arithmetic mean. So what is the formula for arithmetic mean? Sigma x upon n. So sigma x is 60 divided by 3, that is 20. So arithmetic mean is 20. Now you have to take deviation from arithmetic mean. So x minus x bar, and you have to do square also. So 10 minus 20 square gives you 100. 20 minus 20 square gives you 0, and 30 minus 20 square gives you 100. Now what is the total? The total is 200. Now substitute the value in the formula. Root numerator is your 200 divided by 3. Now solve this and get the answer. तो फटाफट से इसको सॉल्व कर ले and give me the final answer. So Kritika Agarwal has given the answer 8.165. Perfect. So 8.16 is your standard deviation. So you can calculate standard deviation by this formula. Any doubt till here? Let me give you one more question. You can practice and give the answer now. X is 5, 10, 15, and 20. So these are four observations, and now you have to calculate the standard deviation. So come on, फटाफट से calculate कर लें. Your first step is find sum of all observations. So sum is 50. Then next step, x bar. X bar will be 50 divided by 4. That is 12.5. 12.5 is your x bar. Now you have to take deviation from arithmetic mean. So x minus x bar whole square. X minus x bar whole square. Now solve this and give the answer. So standard deviation is equal to root and then divided by number of observations. So number of observations are 4. Okay. चलिए फटाफट एक बार सॉल्व कर ले and give the final answer. अनुष्का राज has given 5.59. एक आंसर हमारे पास आ चुका है. रिमेनिंग ऑल्सो फटाफट एक बार आंसर बता दे. Khush has given 12.5. Two different answers. One is 12.5, other 5.59. Anybody else who is giving the answer? Okay. Garb Gupta 5.59. Avni and Khush 5.59. Okay. So now everyone has given the same answer 5.59. So this is your standard deviation. Okay. So standard deviation is very much important from exam point of view also. एग्जाम में भी पास्ट में भी कई बार देखा गया है बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस एग्जाम में इस टॉपिक में से आते हैं तो इट इज वेरी वेरी मच important. You cannot miss any of the concept from this topic. Okay. Right. Now everybody is correct. Tambishwari has given, Kritika, Anjali, Renuka. Perfect. Very good. Now, there are some more formulas to calculate standard deviation in individual series. So this was the first formula. Let's write the second formula also. Standard deviation is equal to root sigma x square upon n minus sigma x upon n whole square. Sigma x upon n whole square. This is the second formula to calculate. The name of this method can be written as summation method, or you can write direct method. This is commonly known as direct method. Sigma x square upon n minus sigma x upon n whole square. Now, if you want, this sigma x upon n can be written as x bar because this is nothing but the formula for x bar. So, if you want, this can be written as x bar. So, square will be on x bar. X bar पे क्या लग जाएगा? Square लग जाएगा. Okay. All right. So, this is the second method. Now, let's solve the same question. Let's solve the same question with the help of second formula. Okay. So again, x is given 10, 20, and 30. Then next is if you want to use this method, you require sigma x. So sigma x is 60. देन यू रिक्वायर एक्स स्क्वायर, सम ऑफ एक्स स्क्वायर। तो इंडिविजुअली सबका स्क्वायर करना पड़ेगा आपको। 10 स्क्वायर इज 100, 20 स्क्वायर 400, 30 स्क्वायर is 900. Now the total is 1400. टोटल आ चुका है आपके पास। नेक्स्ट इज 1400 अपॉन n, n is 3 minus sigma x 60 upon 3 whole square. Okay, now let's simplify this. So 1400 upon 3 minus 60 by 3 is 20, 20 square is 400. So the final result which we are getting is 200 by 3, that is 8.16. So this is your answer. तो सेम आंसर आपके पास ऊपर भी आया था और यहाँ पर भी आपका सेम आंसर है 8.16। तो मेथड चाहे कोई भी हो, आंसर विल रिमेन सेम। ओके, तो आंसर विल रिमेन सेम। ऑलराइट, अंडरस्टूड। So this is the summation method. Now let's try one more formula. The third formula is known as the shortcut method. Third formula is shortcut method. Now, in case of shortcut method, what is the formula? Standard deviation is equal to root sigma. Now, in place of x, just write dx. Sigma dx square upon n minus sigma dx upon n whole square. Now, what we have done, just replace x with dx. x को replace कर दिया आपने dx से, and dx are not the two different thing. ये दो अलग अलग चीज नहीं है. It is the one thing. dx means deviation of x. dx means deviation of x taken from a, assume me. तो dx means x minus a. dx का मतलब सिर्फ क्या है? x minus a. तो आपको पहले अज्यूम करना है और उसके बाद सॉल्व करना है। तो लेट्स अगेन सॉल्व द सेम क्वेश्चन with the help of this third method. So 10, 20 and 30 is the x. Now you have to find out dx. So let us assume 10 as assume mean. So 10 minus 10 is 0, 20 minus 10 is 10 and 30 minus 10 is 20. So total of dx is 30. Now we require dx square. 0, 100 and 400. Total is 500. Total is 500. Now apply the formula. Root 500 upon 3 minus 30 upon 3 whole square. So 500 upon 3 minus 100. So again you are getting the same answer, 200 by 3, 8.16. Okay, so all the three methods will give you the same result. Method चाहे कोई भी हो, आंसर आपका सेम आएगा. So when series is given, you can use any method. But sometimes in the question direct values are given. तो अगर आपको क्वेश्चन में वैल्यू दिया है, then you have to use that particular formula. If question is giving you like n sigma x square, then of course you have to use the direct method only. If sigma x minus x bar whole square is given, n is given, then you have to use the first method only. So it depends what kind of values are given. Accordingly, you have to select your formula. Okay. सो अभी तक स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन इजी है. एनी डाउट स्टिल हियर, लेट मी नो. बिकॉज स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन के अंदर कैलकुलेशन आपका बहुत सिंपल है. यू कैन डू इट ऑन योर कैलकुलेटर. ओके, सो नो नीड टू वरी फॉर दैट. सो we have completed this point. Now the next one is some basic points. So let's discuss some basic points first. First one जो हमने लिखा था, standard deviation is the best measure. Second one is standard deviation is based on all observations. This also we have discussed. Now, square of square of standard deviation is known as variance. स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन के स्क्वायर को हम क्या बोलते हैं? वेरिएंस. सो स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन इज डिनोटेड बाय, स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन का जो सिंबल है दैट इज दिस. दिस इज द सिंबल ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन. नाउ व्हाट दिस इज कॉल्ड एज? दिस इज नोन एज sigma. This is known as sigma, and there is one more name, that is neta. So these are the two names of this symbol. One is sigma and second one is neta. Now, एक कंफ्यूजन माइंड में आ सकता है कि दिस इज ऑल्सो सिग्मा एंड स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन इज ऑल्सो सिग्मा. अगर बोथ सिग्मा है तो दोनों में क्या डिफरेंस है? दिस इज नोन एज कैपिटल सिग्मा, एंड कैपिटल सिग्मा इज यूज फॉर सम, and this one is small sigma. Small sigma is used for standard deviation. Okay, तो दोनों ही सिग्मा है, एक कैपिटल है और एक स्मॉल है, और दोनों का पर्पस डिफरेंट है. ऑलराइट. So square of standard deviation is known as variance. So symbol for variance will be neta square. This is the symbol of variance. Next, when all observations are equal. अगर सारे ऑब्जर्वेशन सेम है, then standard deviation is equal to 0, because all observations are same. So mean will also be same and deviation will automatically become 0. All right. So whenever all observations are equal, standard deviation will be 0. There will be no deviation. Okay. Then in case of two observations, in case of two observations, standard deviation can be calculated as half of range. Standard deviation का एक shortcut formula है, that is half of range. So you can write it down, h minus l divided by 2. So ये formula कब applicable होगा? When only two observations are there. So let's say one observation is 10, other is 50. Now you have to calculate standard deviation. So your result will be 50 minus 10 upon 2. That is 20. So 20 becomes your standard deviation. Okay. 20 is your standard deviation. Then let's write one more point. In case of n natural numbers, in case of first n natural numbers, basically first n natural numbers, formula for standard deviation is equal to root of n square minus 1 upon 12. Root of n square minus 1 upon 12. Let's say if we want to calculate standard deviation of this series. Now, this is first 7 natural numbers. Now you have to calculate the standard deviation. Your result will be root of 7 square minus 1 upon 12. So therefore, 48 upon 12 will give you 2. So this 2 will be your answer. Okay. Now I am giving you one more question. You have to try. Series is up to 15. Give your answer. तो फर्स्ट 15 नेचुरल नंबर्स गिवन है एंड फर्स्ट 15 नेचुरल नंबर्स का आपको कैलकुलेट करना है कम ऑन एवरीवन so Sachi has given the answer 4.32 Ambishwari has given 2.33 then Kinjal 4.32 Anjali 4.32 okay so we are getting the answer 4.32 so the simple and then there is under root. Okay. So everybody has got the answer. You can take the screenshot of this if required. अगर आपको screenshot चाहिए, you can take the screenshot. All right. So all these are the key points, and you can see that many times theoretical questions come in exam from these points. So that's why these points are very, very important. Okay, next thing is coefficient of standard deviation. So let's write one more point here. Coefficient of standard deviation, also known as coefficient of variation. Coefficient of standard deviation or coefficient of variation. Now, what is the formula for calculating this? The formula is very simple. Standard deviation upon arithmetic mean multiplied by 100. If you want to write in the way of symbols, so neta upon x bar multiplied by 100. Okay, so this is the formula for coefficient of standard deviation. Now, this is also very, very much important. So this coefficient of variation is in short, हम इसको क्या बोलते हैं CV. CV. Now this CV is used for comparison. When we are comparing two or more series, then we use CV, coefficient of variation. Now, what is the conclusion for this CV? If CV is more, if CV is more, this means variation is more, fluctuation is more. तो जिसका सीरीज ज्यादा है उसमें वेरिएशन ज्यादा है फ्लक्चुएशन ज्यादा है उसका डिस्पर्शन ज्यादा, एंड वी कैन से दैट कंसिस्टेंसी इज लेस। अगर वेरिएशन ज्यादा है, दैट मीन्स कंसिस्टेंसी उसमें कम रहेगी। सिमिलरली, इफ सीवी इज लेस, अगर सीवी कम है, दैट मीन्स वेरिएशन इज लेस, fluctuation is less, and consistency will be more. Consistency will be more. तो अगर क्वेश्चन में पूछा है, एक दो सीरीज गिवन है एंड लिखा है विच इज मोर कंसिस्टेंट, तो आपको क्या निकालना है? जिसका सीवी कम है, दैट यू हैव टू सेलेक्ट। इफ क्वेश्चन हैज आस्क्ड विच इज मोर कंसिस्टेंट, अगर यही पूछा है किसमें कंसिस्टेंसी ज्यादा है, तो जिसका सीवी कम है, दैट यू हैव टू सेलेक्ट। अगर क्वेश्चन ने पूछा है किसमें डिस्पर्शन ज्यादा है, किसमें वेरिएशन ज्यादा है, देन यू हैव टू सेलेक्ट दैट सीरीज इन विच सीवी इज मोर। तो जैसा रिक्वायरमेंट है, अकॉर्डिंगली यू कैन सेलेक्ट एंड टेक द डिसीजन। ओके, नाउ let's solve some question from the module. So this is 14.2.9. Find the standard deviation and coefficient of variation for the following numbers: 5, 8, 9, 2 and 6. तो standard deviation calculate करना है, you can use any method. So the series is given. अगर आप direct method use लेते हैं, just find out the square. So 5 square is 25, 8 square 64, 9 square 81, then 4 and 36. Total is 210. और क्या चाहिए आपको? x का total is 30. Then we require x bar, so 30 upon 5, that is 6. Now apply the formula. Root 210 upon 5 minus 6 square. So result will be 210 upon 5. 210 upon 5 is 42 minus 36. It becomes root of 6. So simplify and get your answer, that is 2.45. So 2.45 is your final answer. Okay. Done, everyone? Okay, so this we have already done. This is all. These two are the formulas that we have covered, like in case of two observation and for first and natural numbers. Okay. So now let's write some more formulas for discrete and continuous series. So standard deviation in discrete and continuous series. Standard deviation in discrete and continuous series. Now, the formula is basically similar to what we have written in individual series. The first thing is direct method. First one is direct method. So in case of direct method, what we have to include? We have to include just the frequency. So standard deviation is equal to root of sigma f into x square upon sigma f minus sigma fx upon sigma f whole square. Sigma f into x square upon sigma f minus sigma fx upon sigma f whole square. And this portion can be written as x bar. So it will become the square of x bar. Okay. This is the first method, that is the direct method. Second method, you can write down the shortcut one. Shortcut method, just replace x with dx. Rest everything is same. So standard deviation is equal to root sigma f dx square upon sigma f minus sigma f dx upon sigma f whole square. This is the shortcut method. And the third one is known as the common method or using mean method, using mean. So standard deviation is equal to root of standard deviation is equal to root of sigma f into x minus x bar whole square upon sigma f. This is the formula using mean. All right. So these are overall three methods, three formulas for discrete as well as continuous series. So this is the question, for example number 12, 14.2.12. Find the standard deviation of the following distribution. Weight is given in kilograms and the number of students. Okay, so let's write down the question first. This is given, class interval, and frequency is given. Now the next step is to calculate the mid value, that is x. तो पहले आपको x चाहिए. X means what? Mid value. So 50 plus 52 divided by 2. You get 51. Then 52 plus 54 upon 2, you get 53. So mid value आपके पास आ चुका है. Now, if you are using the shortcut method, then you have to assume any number. तो किसी number को assume करना पड़ेगा. You have to assume the number. So let's assume 55 as A. So now you have to take deviation from this 55. So this is your dx, x minus 55. So 51 minus 55. So let's solve here. I am solving it here. 51 minus 55. You are getting minus 4. Then 53 minus 55 minus 2. 55 minus 55, 0. 57 minus 55, 2. And 59 minus 55, that is 4. Okay. Now next step is we require f dx. F into d. Let's multiply with the frequency. So 17 into minus 4. It is minus 68. 35 into minus 2 is minus 70. 0. Then 15 into 2 is 30. And next one is 5 into 4 is 20. This is your f dx. So the total is minus 88. Then you have to solve f dx square. That means simply multiply dx with f dx. dx and f dx को दोनों को multiply करना है. So minus 4 multiply by minus 68. Okay, minus 4 and minus 68 इन दोनों को multiply करते हैं. So कितना जाएगा? 264. Okay. Then next 140, 0, 60, and then 80. Now find out the total. अभी आपको उसका total चाहिए. So 140 plus 140, 280, 280 plus 264, and write down the total. So 544. Now apply the formula. We are using which method? Shortcut method. Root sigma f dx square upon sigma f minus sigma f dx upon sigma f whole square. This is our formula. So 544 divided by f. F is 100 minus 88 upon 100 whole. Now simplify this and get the answer. So 0.88. Now you have to find out the square root and you are getting the answer. How much? Approximately 2.17 or 2.18. Okay. So you will get 2.17 or 2.18 as your answer. So you can use any method, answer will remain same. All right. So let's see the formulas. So these are the three formulas: this direct method, shortcut method, and then using mean. Now there is one more formula, fourth one, but that is applicable only for continuous series. The fourth one is applicable for continuous series, and that method is known as step deviation method. Step deviation method. Now, step deviation method में आपको क्या करना है? Just it is similar to shortcut method. तो पहले आप shortcut method का फॉर्मूला लिखें. Root sigma f dx dash whole square upon sigma f. dx के ऊपर आपने क्या लगा दिया? डैश माइनस सिग्मा एफ dx अपॉन सिग्मा एफ होल स्क्वायर. तो अगेन यहाँ भी dx पे क्या लगाना है आपको? डैश एंड एट लास्ट मल्टीप्लाई बाय सी. सी मीन्स क्लास इन ट्वेल्व. तो dx डैश कैसे आएगा? dx अपॉन आई. और dx कैसे आता है? x माइनस ए. दैट मीन्स डेविएशन टेकन फ्रॉम अज्यूम मीन. तो पहले आप dx डैश निकालेंगे एंड एट लास्ट c से मल्टीप्लाई कर दें. c भी लिखा जा सकता है एंड ऑल्सो इफ यू वांट यू कैन राइट i. सो कुछ बुक्स में c मिलेगा, कुछ बुक्स में i मिलेगा. दोनों का मतलब एक ही है, क्लास इनटू वेल. ओके. सो दिस इज द फोर्थ मेथड, बट दिस इज अ कॉपी ऑफ शॉर्टकट मेथड. कोई फर्क नहीं है दोनों में ज्यादा. सो जो यहाँ पे इस बुक ने फॉर्मूला यूज किया है, दिस इज स्टेप डिविएशन मेथड. एंड हमने जो फॉर्मूला यूज किया है दैट इज शॉर्टकट मेथड. आंसर इज सेम फॉर बोथ ऑफ. ओके. Now let's see some properties of standard deviation. So some of the properties we have already discussed, but let's go through from here also. If all observations assumed by a variable are constant, अगर सारे वेरिएबल कांस्टेंट है, इक्वल है, then of course standard deviation is 0. So this means that if all the values taken by variable x is k, then standard deviation is 0. And the same result applies for range, mean deviation, that is everyone. Because किसी भी केस में अगर सारे ऑब्जर्वेशन इक्वल है तो उनका डेविएशन या उनका डिस्पर्शन और y is equal to a plus bx, then standard deviation of y can be calculated as mod of b into standard deviation of x. Mod b into standard deviation of x. So this is the formula for standard deviation of y. Okay. Now third formula is for combined standard deviation. Now how to calculate the combined standard deviation? So for calculation of this, there will be two groups given in the question. Number of observations n1, n2. Mean x bar 1, x bar 2. And also we require standard deviation 1 and 2. So ये सारी information given रहेगी. Now, what is our formula for this? Neta 1, 2, that means combined standard deviation is equal to root of n1 neta 1 square plus n2 neta 2 square plus n1 d1 square plus n2 d2 square upon n1 plus n2. This is the formula. Now, for applying this formula, you will require d1 and d2. ये दोनों आपको चाहिए. d1 का मतलब क्या है? डिफरेंस 1. कैसा आएगा? x बार 1 2 माइनस x बार 1. एंड डिफरेंस 2 कैसा आएगा? x बार 1 2 माइनस x बार 2. That means arithmetic mean का difference taken from combined mean. So for calculation of d1 and d2, you have to calculate x bar 1 2 first. तो पहले आपको x bar 1 2 calculate करना पड़ेगा, and this we have already covered in central tendency topic. So it was n1 x bar 1 plus n2 x bar 2 upon n1 plus n2. So the first was x bar 1 2, second was d1 d2, and third step is neta 1 2. So ये three steps पूरे आपको follow करने पड़ेंगे to solve the complete question. Okay. So before doing this practical question, let's take a break of 10 minutes and then we will be continuing. Okay. Okay. So welcome back, everybody. So now we have written this formula for combined standard deviation. So let's have some question based on this. Let's take some figures from here. Combined standard deviation. Yes. So for a group of 60 boys, the mean and standard deviation of stats marks are 45 and 2 respectively. Hello. So 60 are the number of students, 45 are the mean marks, and 2 is basically the standard deviation. So we can write it down. N1 is 60, X bar 1 is 45, and standard deviation 1 is 2. The same figure for the group of 40 girls. So it is N2 is 40, then X bar 2 is 55, and neta 2 is equal to 3. Okay, so this is given. Now, always calculate X bar 1 2 first. तो पहले X bar 1 2 को calculate कर लें. So 60 into 45 plus 40 into 55 divided by N1 plus N2, so 60 plus 40. So let's calculate this. We are getting X bar 12 at 49. तो X bar 12 आपका कितना आ चुका है? 49. Now, second thing is to take the deviation. So D1 and D2. So difference आपको निकालना है combined mean का. तो 49 minus 45 and 49 minus 55. So this is the difference. Now, third step is to apply the formula. So combine standard deviation. So N1 is 60, then neta 1 ka square, that is 2 square, plus N2 40, 3 square, then 60, 4 square, and then 40 minus 6 square. Whole divided by N1 plus N2, so 60 plus 40. So 60 into 4 is 240 plus 9 into 4, 360 plus 16 into 6 is 96. Then 36 into 4 is 144 divided by 100. Now you can simplify this and get the result. So how much is the final result? तो फटाफट से जो भी आपका रिजल्ट है आंसर करें. So you are getting root of 30, that is 5.48. Okay. Mohammed Wes is asking S1 कहाँ से आया? There is no S1, there is D1 and D2. S1 हमने कहीं नहीं लिखा है. We have written D1, D2, neta 1, 2. There is no S1. And this D1, D2 is basically deviation taken from arithmetic mean. Okay. So 5.48 is your final answer. All right. So in this way, you can easily calculate your pooled mean. Done, everybody? So Sakshi, Tamreshwari, everybody has given the answer. Perfect. So whenever two groups are given, you can combine them and to get the combined standard deviation. Now, this is 16th illustration, almost same. The mean and standard deviation of salaries of two factories are given. So factory A and factory B, there are two factories. Number of employees are given. This is your N1 and N2. Mean salary is given X bar 1 and X bar 2. Then standard deviation 1 and 2. All these are given. Now you have to find out combined mean salary and standard deviation of the salary. To combine mean, you have to find out. So first step is to calculate X bar 1, 2. So again, use the same formula, N1 X bar 1 plus N2 X bar 2 upon N1 plus N2. So mean salary or average salary which you are getting is 4,800. 4,800. Then next one is to find out D1 and D2. So take your deviation from this. So while after taking the deviation, how much you are getting? So I think this is 4,880, right? Let's check. 30 into 4,800 and plus this divided by 50. Yes. So the figure, this is not 4,800. This is 4,880. So this will be your average salary. Then you have to take the deviation D1 and D2. So for D1, you have taken the difference of X bar 1 and X bar 1, 2. For D2, you have taken the difference of X bar 2 and X bar 1, 2. तो दोनों से आपने difference ले लिया. So difference you are getting 80 and then 120. Okay. Now you have to apply the formula for combined standard deviation. All right. So overall, the final result which you are getting is 98.58. So 98.58 is your combined standard deviation. All right. Now, in second portion, the question is asking, examine which factory has more consistent structure so far as satisfying its employees are concerned. So now we are talking about consistency, more consistency. So if consistency is more, that means CV should be less. तो आपको check करना है in which company there is less coefficient of variation. So you have to calculate coefficient of variation for factory A and then for factory B. So coefficient of variation for factory A. So what is the formula for coefficient? Standard deviation upon mean. So standard deviation for first factory is 10. Mean salary is 4,800 multiplied by 100. So your coefficient of variation is 0.21. Whereas coefficient of variation for factory B, 12 is the standard deviation, 5,000 is the mean multiplied by 100. You are getting 0.24. So CV for A is less. CV for factory A is less. Therefore, factory A is more consistent. Factory A is more consistent. Okay. So in this way, you can answer your question. All right. Now, 14.2.17. This is again a good question, but a bit of lengthy question. A student computes arithmetic mean and standard deviation for a set of 100 observations as 50 and 5 respectively. So arithmetic mean is 50. Standard deviation is 5 and 100 is the number of observations. Later on, she discovers that she has made a mistake in taking one observation as 60 instead of 40. So what is the mistake? In taking one observation as 60 as instead of 50. So 50 is the correct observation and 60 is the incorrect observation. ओके सो जब भी आप करेक्शन करेंगे रॉन्ग फिगर यू हैव टू रिमूव एंड करेक्ट यू हैव टू इंसर्ट ओके करेक्ट फिगर इंसर्ट करना है एंड रॉन्ग फिगर आपको हटाना है नाउ क्वेश्चन विल क्लैरिफाई व्हाट एग्जैक्टली यू हैव टू डू so what should be the correct mean and standard deviation if the wrong observation is left out okay if you leave this wrong observation then what will happen so at present in the current situation, number of observations are 100, mean is 50, standard deviation is 5. And if you leave one observation, the number of observation will be 99 only. The number of observation will remain 99. Then, next what you have to do, this will affect your mean. इसका effect कहाँ पे आ जाएगा? आपके mean पे effect आ जाएगा. So let's calculate the new mean. So x bar is equal to sigma x upon n. So x bar given here is 50. Sigma x we don't know. Number of observations are 100. So according to this, sigma x is 5,000. Now, after making the correction, we have to remove 60, the wrong observation. So new sigma x will be 4940. Number of observations will be 99. If you divide them, you will get new x bar. So your new x bar will be 49.90. This is your new x bar. Okay. Now, for solving the question for standard deviation, तो standard deviation का formula क्या है? Root sigma x square upon n minus sigma x upon n whole square. So old standard deviation given was 5. Old standard deviation given है 5. But sigma x square आपको नहीं पता. So first of all, we are computing what is the original value of sigma x square. कि sigma x square का original value कितना है? Divided by original observations 100 हैं. Sigma x is 5,000 divided by 100 and then square. Okay. Now what you have to do? Squaring both the sides. 25 is equal to sigma x square upon 100 minus 2500. So this will become 252500 is equal to sigma x square. So this is the value of old sigma x square. Now you have to calculate new sigma x square. So for calculating this new, you have to remove the old one. So remove 60 square. So 252,500 minus 3,600. So you are getting how much? 2,48,900. This is your new sigma x square. So you have got everything new now. New x bar, new sigma x square. Just calculate the standard deviation now. So standard deviation is equal to root 248,900 upon n is 99 minus sigma x upon n, that is x bar, directly you can write 49.9 whole square. Okay. Now simplify this and get the value of standard deviation. So this is your first portion. तो ये इस क्वेश्चन का फर्स्ट पार्ट कंप्लीट हो जाएगा. नीटा का वैल्यू आप कैलकुलेट करें, यू विल गेट द फाइनल आंसर. So the final answer which you will get is 4.91. 4.91 is your standard deviation. Okay, understood? Anjali is asking, these long questions takes 2 to 4 minutes, and how can we solve this type of question in 1 minute? See, in exams, you don't have to solve all the questions in 1 minute. In exam, average time is 1 minute. Okay, so don't forget the average word. आपके पास एग्जाम में हर क्वेश्चन के लिए 1 मिनट नहीं है. एवरेज टाइम पर क्वेश्चन इज 1 मिनट. कुछ क्वेश्चंस आप 5 सेकेंड्स में करेंगे, योर 55 सेकेंड्स आर सेव्ड. सम क्वेश्चंस यू कैन डू इन 20 सेकेंड्स, so 40 seconds are saved. Some question will take 2 minutes, so you will require extra 60 seconds. Okay, so overall, after doing this adjustment, you have to complete 100 questions in 120 minutes. Okay, so this 1 minute is the average. So every question will not take 1 minute. So you have to make the proper relationship so that you can solve all the questions. So Rajesh is saying ये question exam में आ सकता है. Yes, it has already been asked many times in exams. Past में बहुत बार आ चुका है, एक बार नहीं. Okay. मुस्कान इज सेइंग हाउ टू सॉल्व दिस ऑन कैलकुलेटर. सी, यहाँ पे आपको कैलकुलेट करना ही पड़ेगा. एवरीथिंग, ऑल दिस कैलकुलेशंस, ऑल दिस एल्जेब्रा यू कैन नॉट डू ऑन द कैलकुलेटर. एल्जेब्रा तो आपको हाथ से करना ही पड़ेगा, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट हैविंग द साइंटिफिक कैलकुलेटर, इट इज द नॉर्मल कैलकुलेटर. तो आप सिर्फ मल्टीप्लाई, डिवाइड, प्लस माइनस, स्क्वायर रूट इन सबको कर सकते हो, बट एल्जेब्रा यू कैन नॉट डू. तो उसके लिए आपको मैनुअली कुछ चीजें करनी पड़ेगी. सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट पार्ट. And the second portion था, the wrong observation is replaced by the correct one. Wrong को आप क्या करेंगे? Replace करेंगे. So for replacing the observation, so what you have to do, x bar is equal to, now old sigma x was 5000, remove 60 and add 50 the new observations, divided by total number of observations was 100. So you are getting 49.90 as your x bar. Now you have to find out correct सिग्मा एक्स स्क्वायर. तो ओरिजिनल सिग्मा एक्स स्क्वायर कितना था? 252 500 माइनस, रिमूव द ओल्ड वन, add the new one. So how much you are getting after doing all this? 251 400. This you are getting. Now next step is to find out the standard deviation. So root of 251 400 upon 100 minus 49.9 square. Okay. Now get the final answer. So you are getting 4.90 as your standard deviation. Okay. So in this way, you will get your standard deviation. All right. Yeah. Now let's move on to the other questions. 21. Now, This is also again a lengthy question. The mean variance of five observations are 4.8 and 6.16 respectively. So n is given 5, mean is given 4.8, variance is given 6.16. If three observations are 2, 3, and 6, what are the remaining observations? So let us assume the remaining two observations as A and B. Okay. So in total, five observations are there. Mean is given. So let us apply the formula for mean. X bar equal to sigma x upon n. So 2 plus 3 plus 6 plus A plus B upon 5. So the total is 11 plus A plus B upon 5 equal to 4.8. So 24 minus 11 is 13. This is your first equation. A plus B is equal to 13. A plus B is equal to 13. Now, second is standard deviation is given, variance is given. So you can use the formula for variance also. Sigma x square upon n minus x bar whole square. Now, we have removed the root and written eta square. Okay, but the same thing. So sigma x square, that is sum of square of all the observation. So 2 square plus 3 square plus 6 square plus a square plus b square divided by 5 minus x bar whole square. X bar is 4.8 and then square. So what is neta square? Neta square is 6.16. Okay. Now simplify this and get the result. So 6.16 plus 23.04 is equal to 4 plus 9 plus 36 plus a square plus b square. So how much we are getting? 146 minus 49 is equal to a square plus b square. So therefore, the second equation which we are getting is this. Now, after getting the two equations, just solve by options. अब आपको ऑप्शन से सॉल्व करना है. जो ऑप्शन दोनों इक्वेशन को सेटिस्फाई करेगा, that will be your correct answer. So let's say the options are 10 and 3, 9 and 4, 8 and 5, and none. So trying the first equation, 10 plus 3, 13, 9 plus 3, 13, 8 plus 5, 13. So all these three options satisfy equation 1. But equation number 2 को कौन satisfy करेगा? A square plus B square equal to 97. So 10 square is 100. So first option is not possible. Second, 9 square 81, 4 square 16, 97. Yes. Option B is satisfying second equation also. Therefore, 9 and 4 are the correct answer. Okay. So this will become your answer. Now, these are the normal questions which we have already covered. So let's take some questions from back. Question number 14. If the profits of a company remain same for last 10 months, profits are same, then standard deviation of profits for this 10 months would be. So if all observations are same, standard deviation will be 0. Which measure of dispersion is considered for finding पूल्ड मेजर ऑफ डिस्पर्शन, पूल्ड मीन्स ग्रुप्ड, तो ग्रुप्ड के लिए कौन सा मेथड काम में आता है? इट इज स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन। बाकी सब में कोई पूल्ड कैलकुलेशन नहीं होता है, ओनली इट हैपेंस इन स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन। देन next is standard deviation of 10, 16, 10, 16, 10, 10, 16, 16. So ultimately there are only two observations, 10 and 16. So half of range. Your answer will be 3. Question number 19. For any two numbers, standard deviation is always. So whenever only two numbers are there, your answer will be half of range. Option number B. 20. If all the observations are increased by 10, then increased by 10 means there is change of origin. And change of origin का कोई impact नहीं होता है. Therefore, all these three remains unchanged. इनमें कोई effect नहीं आएगा. There will be no change in either range, SD, QD, MD, anything. No change will be there. 21. If all the observations are multiplied by 2, so we are multiplying, it is change of scale. तो change of scale का effect होता है in the same ratio. So therefore, all these will be multiplied by 2. So new standard deviation will be multiplied by 2. Option number A. Okay. Okay, let's try question number 9 now. If two variables x and y are related by 2x plus 3y minus 7 equal to 0. Mean and mean deviation are 1 and 0.3. So mean is 1, mean deviation is 0.3. Then find the coefficient of mean deviation. So what you have to calculate? You have to find the coefficient of mean deviation of y. So for y, you have to calculate. So what is the formula for coefficient of mean deviation? It is mean deviation upon mean multiplied by 100. This is the result. So you require coefficient for y. So mean deviation of y, mean of y, and then multiply by 100. So how to calculate the mean of y? So just substitute the value in the equation. 2x plus 3y minus 7 equal to 0. Mean of x is 1. So find the mean of y. 3y equal to 5. Y is equal to 5 by 3. So your y bar is 5 by 3. Next is to calculate the mean deviation. So let's arrange the equation. 3y equal to 7 minus 2x. So y equal to 7 by 3 minus 2 by 3x. So mean deviation of y is 2 by 3 into 0.3. This is your mean deviation of y. Now substitute the value 0.2 upon 5 by 3 into 100. Cancel this, you will get your answer. So your coefficient is 12. Any doubt till here? Anyone? This is your mean deviation. Coefficient of mean deviation, that is 12. Option number B. Let's try question number 10 also. Find out mean deviation about mode. You have to take deviation from mode. Let's solve this question also. This is question number 10. Series is given 4 by 11, 6 by 11, 8 by 11, 9 by 11, 12 by 11 and 8 by 11. Now, इनमें से कौन सा ऑब्जर्वेशन है जो रिपीट हो रहा है? 8 by 11 is getting repeated. So therefore 8 by 11 is the mode. Now mod of x minus z. Take the deviation. So 4 by 11 minus 8 by 11 will give you 4 by 11, 2 by 11, 0, 1 by 11, 4 by 11 and then 0. The total is 11 by 11, that is 1. So 1 is your total. Now apply the formula. Mean deviation is equal to sigma mod x minus z upon n. The total is 1 divided by number of observations are 6. So 1 upon 6 is your answer. Okay. So this is your question number 10. All right. Then let's try this one. Question number 11. This topic we have covered today only, standard deviation in individual series. You can use any formula to solve. You can get your answer. Let's try the 12th one. 12th one is very easy. If the mean and standard deviation of x are a and b respectively. So mean is a, standard deviation is b. Then the standard deviation of x minus a upon b you have to calculate. So let's say y is equal to x minus a upon b. Y is equal to x minus a upon b. So you have to calculate the standard deviation of y. To take the mod of b. So 1 upon b into standard deviation of x. You can cancel, we are getting 1. So 12th question number 12 B is 1. From question number 13, just calculate coefficient of variation. Formula is simple, standard deviation upon mean multiply by 100. So this you can try it yourself. This is very much easy. Then 14th, if the standard deviation of x is 3, x का standard deviation कितना है 3, find out the variance of 5 minus 2x. So variance you have to calculate. So let's take the equation as y is equal to 5 minus 2x. So first calculate standard deviation of y. So mod of b into standard deviation, you are getting 6. Now you require variance. So variance is the square of standard deviation. So variance of y is equal to 6 square, that is 36. 6 square, that is 36. Option number A. Option number A. All right. Then let's solve question number 18. Standard deviation of first n natural numbers is 2. Then the value of n must be. So this formula we have done today, root of n square minus 1 upon 12. And this is equal to 2. So you have to find out the value of n. So squaring both the sides. दोनों तरफ square कर लेते हैं. N square minus 1 upon 12 is equal to 4. So n square is 49. Therefore, value of n will be 7. So 7 number of observations will be there to get standard deviation of 2. Okay. Then 19th. Let's try 19th also. If x and y are related by the equation y is equal to 2x plus 5, standard deviation and arithmetic mean of x are 5 and 10 respectively. Then find out the coefficient of variation of y. So first of all, calculate the mean of y. So 2 into 10 plus 5. So y bar is 25. Y bar आ चुका है कितना 25. Then next thing is coefficient of variation. So for coefficient, you need to calculate standard deviation of y also. So standard deviation of y is equal to mod of b into standard deviation of x. So mod of b is 2. The standard deviation of x is 5. You are getting 10. Now CV, standard deviation upon mean into 100. You are getting 40 as the coefficient of variation. So this is your CV. So in this way, you can calculate your coefficient of variation. All right. Then set C, all these questions are quite lengthy, but you can try some of the questions as we have discussed all the formulas. हमने सारे formulas discuss कर रखे हैं, तो आप इसमें से सारे question try कर सकते हो. We have done all the patterns. So let's try one or two questions from this also. So we are trying question number 2. What is the mean deviation about median? So you have to take deviation from median. So first thing is to calculate median from the given series. So let's write down the series here. Series must be arranged. So it is already arranged. Frequency is 2, 8, 9, 16, 14, 7, and then 4. Then CF. 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 9, 19, then 35, 49, plus 7 is 56, and then 60. Now, for calculating median, you need to calculate rank of median. So, n plus 1 by 2. It is 30.5. So, 30.5 is covered in which interval? In this interval, it is covered. So, therefore, median is equal to 9. Median का value कितना आ चुका है 9. So now you have to take deviation from median. So mod of x minus m, and median is 9. So 3 minus 9 is 6. 5 minus 9 is 4. Then 2. 0, 2, 4, and then 6. Multiply this with f. Multiply with the frequency 12, 24, sorry, 32, 18, 0, 28, again 28, and then 24. Now find out the total. 12 plus 32 plus 18 plus 28 plus 28 plus 24. We are getting 142. Now apply the formula. Mean deviation is equal to sum divided by total of the frequency. So your final answer is 2.37. 2.37. Option number D. So in this way, you will get the answer. So Anil is asking, 5 question marks also come in exam. Yes, these questions can come in exam, but weightage in exam will be only 1 marks. Okay. चाहे क्वेश्चन कितना भी छोटा क्यों नहीं है, कितना भी बड़ा क्यों नहीं है, वेटेज एग्जाम में ओनली 1 marks. Okay. So 2.37 is your final answer for this question. So all these are based on standard deviation or coefficient of variation. You can try. Now let's see question number 7. Which of the following companies, which of the following companies, A and B, is more consistent so far as payment of dividend is concerned? The question is talking about consistency. The question is not asking you to calculate range, QD, MD, SD. Question is not saying, you only have to judge. आप ही को क्वेश्चन देख के जज करना पड़ेगा कि हमें इस क्वेश्चन में फाइंड क्या करना है. तो कंसिस्टेंसी की बात हो रही है, तो यू नीड टू कैलकुलेट सीवी for company A and CV for company B. And consistency किसमें होगी? जिसका CV कम होगा, that will be more consistent. Okay? So you have to calculate arithmetic mean for both, then standard deviation for both, and at last, after dividing, you get CV for both. Okay. Garv is asking, negative marking hoti hai? Yes, of course, negative marking is there for your objective papers. Okay, let's try last one more question. Question number 8. Okay. The mean and standard deviation for a group of 100 observations are 65 and 7.03 respectively. This is for 100 observations. If 60 of these observations have mean and SD as 70 and 3 respectively, then what is the standard deviation for the group of 40 observations? So N1 is 60, N2 is 40. X bar 1, 70. X bar 2, you have to calculate. The standard deviation 1 is 3. Standard deviation 2, you have to calculate. And then neta 1, 2 is 7.03. X bar 1, 2 is 65. All these are given in the question. So you have to find out the standard deviation for a group of 40 observation. So our requirement is to calculate neta 2. That's it. बाकी सारी values आपको given हैं. To start solving, always the first step is for x bar 12. So x bar 12 is 65 equal to n1 x bar 1 n2 x bar 2 upon n1 plus n2. So 6500 minus 4200 upon 40. So x bar 2, you are getting how much? 2300 divided by 40 is 57.5. Now x bar 2 क्यों चाहिए to find out d2? So now find d1 and d2. d1 is 65 minus 70 and d2 is 65 minus 57.5. So d1 and d2 are there. Now next thing is to calculate neta 2. Apply the formula. 7.03 is equal to root of n1 into neta 1 square plus n2 into neta 2 square, then n1 into d1 square plus n2 into d2 square whole divided by n1 plus n2. Now you can simplify this and get the answer. Okay. Just do this simple calculation and your answer will be there. तो आपको सिंपली यहाँ पे क्या फाइंड करना है? स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन 2. So if you want to remove root, you can do squaring both sides. So 49.4209 is equal to 540 plus 40 neta 2 square plus 25 into 6 is 150 and 7.5 square into 40 is 2250 whole divided by 100. So let's calculate and get the final answer. So it is 4290 and 40 neta 2 square. So neta 2 square you are getting is 16.3. So therefore root of 16.3 you will get 4 point something. 4.03. 4.03. So question has given the option as 4. You can select 4. So 4 is the final answer. So in this way, you will get the combined standard deviation formula. और इसमें से कोई भी एक फिगर मिसिंग रहेगा and always एक मिसिंग फिगर आपको find out करना है. All right. So we have covered the most important chapters of statistics. The first one was statistical description of data. Second was central tendency. And third one is measures of dispersion. The joint weightage of these three chapters. इन तीनों chapters का जो weightage है, that is 18 to 20 marks. That is 50% of the statistics questions come from these three chapters. Okay. तो ये थ्री चैप्टर्स इतनी ज्यादा रेलिवेंट है, इतनी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो आपको पूरा फोकस करना है, अच्छे से वापस से रिवाइज कर लें ऑल द थ्री चैप्टर्स। एंड द नेक्स्ट चैप्टर जो हम नेक्स्ट क्लास में स्टार्ट करने वाले हैं, दैट इज द मोस्ट फियरफुल चैप्टर। यस, फियरफुल की नेम से आपको पता लग गया होगा। फियरफुल चैप्टर हमारा कौन सा है? दैट इज प्रोबेबिलिटी। तो ये एक ऐसा चैप्टर है जिससे काफी स्टूडेंट्स घबराते हैं, उन्हें पहले से ही एक फोबिया लगता है ये हमसे कैसे होगा। बट यस, दिस इज नॉट मच डिफिकल्ट। ऑफकोर्स थोड़ा सा एक लेवल डिफरेंट होता है, लेकिन इतना डिफिकल्ट नहीं है जितना आप लोग अज्यूम कर लेते हैं कई बार। तो बी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर द नेक्स्ट चैप्टर दैट इज प्रोबेबिलिटी, और 2 सेशंस विल बी देयर फॉर कंप्लीटिंग दैट चैप्टर। तो हम उसको पूरा बेसिक से हाई लेवल तक जाने वाले हैं प्रोबेबिलिटी में। सो डू नॉट वरी फॉर दैट। सो स्टैटिस्टिक्स का कोई भी पोर्शन आपको स्किप नहीं करना है, बिकॉज स्टैटिस्टिक्स इज वेरी मच स्कोरिंग। तो 40 on 40 लाने का आपको पूरा कोशिश करना है, बिकॉज कुछ भी ऐसा स्टैट्स में नहीं है जो बहुत ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट हो, बहुत ज्यादा ट्रिकी हो, और जो एक स्टूडेंट नहीं कर सकता। तो यू कैन डू ईच एंड एवरीथिंग इजिली विदाउट एनी प्रॉब्लम। और उसके बाद नेक्स्ट प्रायोरिटी में आपको रखना है एलआर लॉजिकल रीजनिंग। वैसे आप लोग सारे चैप्टर्स कवर कर चुके हो आईसीआई सेशन में, एलआर के भी। एंड इन केस अगर आपने उसका सेल्फ स्टडी नहीं किया है, तो वो भी आप टाइमली कंप्लीट कर लें, बिकॉज दोनों मिला के आपका 60 मार्क्स कवर करता है। एंड 60 मार्क्स आपके लिए बहुत वेटेज रखता है, मायने रखता है। राइट। हम भी माध्य अंक क्या होता है? माध्य अंक मीन्स मीडियन। So median we have covered in central tendency chapter. Okay. So this chapter is done now. Now the ball is in your court, and you have to take charge and solve all the variety of questions, all the additional questions. And we will meet again in the next session. Till then, bye everyone. Take care and see you soon. Over.
Recording stopped.